Hi all, welcome to the today's video lecture passing arrays to a function. Before diving into the today's concept, I want to give you a quick recap on the previous video. So I have mentioned 2 points in the previous video. If you don't watch that previous video, please watch that and then continue this. I will give the link in the description box below. So array name is the address of the first element. If you consider the name of the array, always it points to the first element of that array. So it means array name is exactly equal to the address of the first element in that array. And the next point that I have covered is accessing array elements. There are 2 ways to access the array elements. The first way is by using index. We can use index with array name. So in that way you can access the ith element in that array. Otherwise you can use the pointers concept to access the array elements. Here you can take the help of asterisk, that is dereferencing operator, to access that corresponding element. So if you want to access the ith element in that array by using this dereferencing operator, asterisk, in parenthesis we have to mention array name plus I. Then automatically ith element in that array you can access. So this is the quick recap of the previous video, and then we are going to see what are the different ways we have to pass your array into your function. See, if you want to call a function by using array as an actual parameter, we have this mechanism, name of the function, and in parenthesis we have to mention the name of that array. If I consider ARR as an array, then the name of the function I am considering dummy, then you can call the dummy function with ARR as actual parameter. Then how you can define the function? Then we have to take this array as input for that function. That means formal parameter should be an array now. There are 2 ways to define the function by using array as formal parameters. Just I am giving here the function header only. See, in the first way we are going to use the array as a formal parameter like this. So the data type represents the data type of the elements we are going to store in that array, and this array name is the name of the array that we are going to use as a formal parameter here. Here the size is optional. So optional size you can mention. Here I did not specify any size, that is allowed. We can also specify the array size here. And then if I consider the example for the first way, see, I have mentioned int. That means this function is going to return integer value as return value. And then I am using that function name. After that I am using ARR as a formal parameter, which is nothing but our array internal to that function. The array is going to use integer elements in that. So that is the first way of representing formal parameter array. And in the second way, we are going to use the mechanism of pointers here. So I already mentioned in the first point here, array name is a pointer for the first element of that array. Then while receiving that array into the function, the formal parameter can be a pointer here. See, here I have mentioned the data type of that pointer. That means this pointer is going to point out that particular data type. That means this array name is going to point out an array. That array is going to store elements of this data type. Then here I have mentioned array name as a pointer by using asterisk, that is dereferencing operator. So these are the 2 ways we have to pass an array into a function. In the first way, directly we have mentioned array itself as a formal parameter. So in the second case, we have used the concept of pointers to copy the actual array into this formal parameter, a pointer here. Then we will switch into C compiler. So as a first example in this video, I am going to consider finding the sum of all the elements in the given array. So here I have considered integers. That means that array is going to hold integers only. So for that I am going to define a function. So in the main function we need an array of integers. I am going to define that. See, I have defined an array ARR, and which is of integer type, and it is holding 4 elements in it, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I need to call a function to find out the sum of all the elements in the given array. So for that I am going to send 2 arguments. The first one is array itself and the second one is the length of that array. Here the first argument is name of the array, and if you observe the second argument, I have used size of operator to get the size of that array. Here we need to send the number of elements present in that array as a second argument to that function where I am going to compute the entire sum. Then in order to find the number of elements in that array, that is the size of array, I am using a division here. In the numerator, I am going to find out the sum of array. That means it will give us the number of bytes occupied by that entire array. divided by size of individual element of that array. So in the denominator you will find the number of bytes occupied by individual element of that array. So the number of bytes occupied by the entire array divided by the number of bytes occupied by individual element gives us the total number of elements present in that array. Now I am going to define the function. If you observe the function header here, I have used void as a return type. That means I am not going to return any value to the main function. I am going to display the sum of all those elements within the function itself. And then the name of the function find sum, and the two formal parameters I have defined here. The first one is array, which is holding the integer type elements, and the name of this array is AR, which is nothing but a local parameter for this function. And the next argument that is received from the main function is size. To hold the size of that array, I am using n here. This n is a local variable for that function to hold the number of elements present in that array. And then I am going to declare two variables. Here I have declared I as an integer. Now I am going to use I as a loop control variable, and then I have declared another variable sum, which holds the sum value. That's why I have initialized the sum with 0. And then I am repeating a for loop to access the individual elements of that array. Since the starting index is 0, I should start with 0, and the last index will be n minus 1. As long as I less than n, the loop will be repeated. Whenever I is greater than or equal to n, then loop will be terminated. Within the for loop, I am going to compute the sum of elements. For that, I am using a statement sum is equal to sum plus AR of I. So whenever all the elements got summed up, this loop will be terminated. So after the loop got terminated, we need to display the sum within the function itself. Then I am using a printf statement. In that printf statement, I have used a statement the sum of all elements is, and then I have used a format specifier d because the sum is of integer type, and then I have used sum variable. Then if I run this program, automatically the function will display the sum of all the elements present in that given array. See, the sum of all the elements present in that array is 10, that is displayed here. See, the elements are 1, 2, 3, 4. If you sum off, you will get 10. So that is the first way. So in this way, what I did, so in the function calling, I have specified the name of the array. As a formal parameter, I have declared entire array like this. So that is the first way of passing arrays to a function. In the second way, what you can do, so in order to receive the array, the formal parameter may be a pointer. So I am changing this. So now AR is a pointer. So it is receiving the address of the first element in that ARR array. So after receiving that first element, then we need to compute the sum by using that pointer. Then I already mentioned that AR of I is equal to asterisk in parenthesis AR plus I. Then I have to modify this statement as sum is equal to sum plus dereferencing operator asterisk in parenthesis. We need to use AR plus I. So this will also gives us the same result. See, I got sum of all the elements 10 here. So that is the second way of passing an array into a function. So now I am going to consider another example to explain this concept. In this second example, we are going to implement a function that will count the number of lowercase characters in the given string. So now we are going to work with character array. So in the main program, I am going to define a character array to hold the input string. So that I am initializing with a string. So that is the string I am initializing in that character array, which is having some uppercase letters, lowercase letters as well as numbers. And then we need to pass this array into a function where the number of lowercase characters will be counted. Since we are working with strings, no need to send the total number of elements present in that array as a second argument to the function. In the function itself, we can find out the number of elements present in that string by using a null character at the end of that string. So let me send this array as an actual parameter. See, here I am sending this array ARR to a function count underscore LCL. As I mentioned earlier, I am not sending array size as an argument to the function. Here return 0 is required because I have used integer as a return time for the main. Then I am defining the function. my function is not returning anything. I am going to display that count within the function itself. That's why I have mentioned void as a return type, and the name of the function count underscore LCL, so which is receiving a character array. So here I did not specify any size of that array, so without size I have mentioned a character array. So here the formal parameter is AR to hold that character array from the main function. So two local variables I have declared, one is I, another one is count. I is now going to use as a loop control variable, and the count I am going to use to hold the count, that is the total number of lowercase letters available in that string. So that's why I have initialized that count variable with 0, and then I am running a for loop. So in this for loop I have initialized I with 0 because the starting index is 0, and then as a condition I have used AR of I not equal to a null character. So as long as that character is not equal to null character, this loop will be repeated. Since we are using this particular condition within the for loop to access all the elements from the starting to end of the string, no need to transfer the count, the total number of elements present in that array, from the main function to sub function if it is a string. If it is other type of arrays, we need to send array name as well as the size of that array to the function. Then I am going to check whether that character is a lowercase letter or not. For that I am using a if statement. To check that character is a lowercase letter, I have used a condition. AR of I gives us that character is greater than or equal to A, and that character is less than or equal to small case z. Then if this condition is satisfying, that means the character is a lowercase character, then we need to increment the count. Then I have used a statement count plus plus to increment the count. So after this for loop got terminated, we need to display that count. See, I have used a printf statement. The number of lowercase letters %d I have used as a format specifier because the count is integer type, and then we need to display the value present in that count variable at the place of that format specifier. Then if I run this program, then automatically I will get the number of lowercase characters present in that input string. So I got 2. We will check how many number of lowercase characters we have in that. Here we have 2 lowercase characters in the given string. The first one is B and the second one is G. Then automatically we got 2 as a count. Then let me change the input string. I have added 2 more small case z's here. Then we need to get the count total as 4. So if I run this, I got the statement, the number of lowercase characters 4. So that is the first way. So in the first way what we did, so we received that character by using a character array as a formal parameter. So now I am going to receive that array as a pointer into a function. That means in the place of formal parameter, I need to specify a pointer here. Now we need to change this indexing into a dereferencing operator to access the elements. Then if I run the program, so I will get the same result. In the second way what we did, we have received an array as a pointer into that function. Here we have used a dereferencing operator. So otherwise by using indexing also we can access the elements here. Suppose if I change this to AR of I, it will work. So it will work, nothing will happen. So here accessing an elements is not a big issue. So in any way you can access the array elements. Here our primary focus is what are the different ways we have to send an array from the main function to sub function. So that we have did by using 2 different ways. In the first way we have received that array by using array as a formal parameter. In the second way what we did, we have received that array by using a pointer as a formal parameter. In the both cases we got the same result. So that's it guys, these are the 2 ways we have to pass an array into function. In the next video I will come up with a new concept. Until that, keep practicing. Bye.